to the Natural Healing Reel. I'm Jackie Capstick. Today, I am excited to welcome a friend and colleague whom I've been working very closely with. And he has shared with me his knowledge and wisdom of ancient healing. And I am forever grateful for the process that I have come through as to date, just on the beginning of my journey with Mark. So please help me welcome Mark Lemohr, my mentor. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Jackie.
How are ya?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good. So
thanks for having me on your podcast, by the way.
I'm excited to have you on my podcast. I've been bugging you for a while, so here you are.
Well, I don't take it lightly. It's good, you know, that I finally got here. I'm grateful.
Good, good. Well, you have a lot to share, so I'm not sure if we can get all in on one session, but let's start where your journey for the spiritual awakening began.
Well, for me, it does run in the bloodlines. My great-great-grandmother was a healer and midwife in Rimouski, Quebec, Canada in the 1800s. And my grandfather used to go and spend his summers with her. And he learned he would help her pick her medicines in the woods and produce her medicines. So he learned a little bit from her. As the story goes, two conventional doctors moved into town and hung their shingle out looking for clients, but they had to wait for her to pass because nobody would come and see them. Everybody trusted her. And she died in a one-horse open sleigh in the middle of a blizzard on her way to deliver a baby. So she was extremely dedicated. And my grandfather was a dowser. So when the other farmers needed to know where to drill a well, they would go get my grandfather. He would walk the land with his stick and be in tune with the vibration of the land and the water below the land. And then he would tell them, you know, this is where you want to put your well. And he was always 100% accurate. So it's sort of in the bloodlines for me. I learned a little bit from him. I started self-healing when I was 11. I used to have terrible tension headaches when I was a boy. They were quite crippling. And then one day I just had an attack. I was in the backseat of my parents' car, and just this vision came to me to just make it like water. Just take my brain and take all that energy that was disruptive and just make it calm like a top of a pond. And I did that, and it dissipated. And I just kept repeating that process. Every time I would get a headache, I would just imagine a calm body of water, and it would just untie the knots. And so with that, I was able to fix that ailment. And to this day, if I get a headache, I just know I need to visualize the brain as being calm like water, and I'm in good shape. So I developed that technique and evolved that technique to deal with other injuries in my own body, but I didn't know how to go from me to you. That was a mystery to me. So in 2007, I started reading and researching and found out not only was there techniques to go from me to you, but there was many of them, and some of them have been around for thousands of years. So that was a great discovery for me and a great enlightening moment.
And did that take you long to learn? Like when you found out that was a thing, how did you? I'm interrupting your process here,
no,
but
please do.
Like, how did you learn how to do that? Did they explain it, or how did that all come?
The books that I was reading, they definitely were, they were explaining their techniques to their modalities, and it was just instant for me. You know, I'd read, that here's how you do it, and I would practice right away. Friends and family members, and then because I had so much practice in me already, it was like a duck to water, so to speak. So I was able to pick up pretty much whatever I was reading pretty quickly and apply it and have success with it. So I was blessed in that regard.
And so probably through you learning how to visualize by bringing that calm place on the surface of the water to heal your headaches and stuff. Is that visual process part of, obviously, to heal others? Are you having, like, do you have to get a whole visual process for the intention of healing somebody, or what does that look like?
let me start by what my practice is. Absolutely, that I still apply that technique today, and visualization is a huge part of my work. Absolutely, it's probably the biggest component of it. So when I'm focusing on healing work, how it's evolved from my early days is I believe that we have to focus on the mind, the body, and the spirit. So with that, what if we miss one of those components, then we're probably not going to have a complete healing. So from a standpoint of the mind, what I believe is my mind is a collection of my perceptions and interpretations of my life experiences. So it becomes this battery of information that is constantly revolving through the brain. So it is this lens of which I process and judge the world through, and it's oftentimes wrong.
Judge the world through. You don't do that. We don't do that.
Yeah, not at all. No, it doesn't affect me. I'm over that. I wish. So, the Buddhists call it the chattering monkey. So they've written manuals on it for 2,500 years. That's how serious they take the matter. So they believe that the mind, the chattering monkey, is the cause of all suffering, and it would be the greatest opponent that we will ever face in our lifetime, is quieting the monkey down. Because the monkey is always talking, always wants to compare everything that I see with what I've seen before. So it becomes this form of consciousness, and it wants to drive the bus. It wants to be always in control. So when I can quiet the mind, when I can shut the monkey up, what they believe is I enter what is they call the void. And in that void is silence. And in that silence, in that void, all of the answers to all of the questions that you and I could ever come up with have already been asked and answered by those who have come before. So that information is already there. So if I can quiet the mind, then those answers to those questions, those difficult life questions, can just come to me, instead of me looking externally and saying, I got to find an answer to this. It already exists. So it's my mind.
Right?
What's that? Sorry?
But you have to ask. We have to ask, don't we? Like we have to ask questions all the time is what I have.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. The questions, I mean, life is difficult, like being a human being is a tricky gig. So, we're always going to be presented with challenges that are going to make us question every aspect of our being and our life purpose. So, that the question is how we explore the world. But the thing is that we often think that the answers are external. That our problems are unique. Nobody will understand. So the idea is when I can quiet the mind and I'm still, then answers come to me much easier. And the solutions to problems are simpler to identify and to process. It's the mind that gets in the way, that blocks them from coming in. So what we're focused on with the mind is basically reprogramming the mind. So a lot of our programming from our mind comes from our parenting, whether parents were deliberate or absent-minded in what they taught us, and imprinting, even when they weren't speaking, we were learning from them by their actions and their words, their thoughts. So programming also comes from our siblings, secondary family, aunts, uncles, cousins, extended family, authority figures, teachers, our peers, our classmates. We are influenced and imprinted by all of these people, all of these other human beings, and their thoughts and perceptions and interpretations of life. So that forms this programming that is, how I process. It was Freud that said, the child is the father of the man. And although I don't agree with a lot of what Freud had to say, I do like the fact that he said, by the time you're 5 years old, you're already set in your reactions, how you're going to respond to certain stimuli in life. So, that's a lot of programming that we go through life with. So we have to become aware of it. We have to understand it. And then we have to, we have to care enough to change it And then we have to look, find out what the action is. You know, what plans can we have? What mantras can we have? What systems can we put in place to counter that programming? So that's what I believe about the mind is where it's about reprogramming ourselves.
And there's
So
a
I
lot to
focus on that.
reprogram in there. There's a lot to reprogram.
Oh my
I can
God!
attest to that.
Yes, it is. It's a big program. We have a big brain, and there's been a lot of experiences that we've had that have shaped us, and that's okay. You know, that's the biggest thing, is we have to let ourselves off the hook, and say that it's okay that we don't process this properly, or we have difficulty with this. You know, we oftentimes get frustrated, and we oftentimes start to self-loathe and create a low self-image of ourselves as a result. And you know, I'm as guilty as anybody of that. And so we start to beat ourselves up, and then we lower our vibration. So now we've got something else to fight. You know, instead of coming at this with a very high vibration and a very great desire to change, we kind of go, that nothing, and then that is again, something that we have to change, become aware of, and then take the appropriate steps to reprogram that as well.
I have heard that you cannot fix the problem from the same place, the same space or energy space that it occurred in, like where it was created. You can't find the healing in that same energy space. You have to be able to go like into a higher vibration to heal it, or to even see it, probably, right? To get the answer.
I would say
kind of what you're saying, like if you're lower vibration, then you're kind of in, and then if you're like quiet the mind and come from the heart, then you're in a higher vibration, and then you can find or be able to hear or allow in the answers to the issues.
I would agree 100% with that. I would say that you could recognize and acknowledge the problem in the moment of despair. You could identify it quite, you could be quite aware and say, oh my God, this is killing me. You could be aware. But I do agree that if you're going to, repair it, you definitely have to come from a place of higher vibration. And the heart is probably the best place to come from, because, when we apply love, there's the old saying that love conquers all. And I truly believe, in my experience, that is absolute truth.
Yeah, so but I think that most of us are just totally going at it, trying to fix it in that lower pattern, and then beating ourselves up some more because we're not able to, I've just been witnessing that with my friends, so that obviously that's what I'm doing as well, to be able to see it, that's we're trying to attack a problem kind of from that same energy space, just not having the awareness that we have to lift up.
Well, I always say that, as human beings, we really make the things, challenges difficult, because we often put our worst energy, our lowest vibration energy, towards the things that need the highest vibration. So for instance, let's say that, I'm afraid or I'm concerned about the health of my children. So, say my daughter's out, and, teenage daughter's out, and I'm worried. Oh my God, what if this happens? What if that happens? So what I'm doing is I'm actually, a wise shaman taught me that fear is a reverse form of prayer. So if I'm putting fear towards that, I'm actually reverse praying, that a bad outcome will happen, which is, it's tricky to imagine that, but it's a low vibration. When instead I can envision her, encased in white light, and I can, ask that she be guided, and I can ask that, the people that she would be with be mindful, and that she be mindful, and that she take great care, and that she gets home safely, and then visualize her whole evening going well, and that she's respected by others, and that she gets home safely. So same problem, same scenario, but now I've envisioned the best possible outcome. So I put my highest vibration to it, my best energy towards that situation, instead of fear in a low vibration. So,
gosh, don't you wish people did that for you? I would love that if people did, right? Instead, they're like, oh, they want to jump down into the low energy with you. I'm so worried about you, right? And it's like, okay, don't worry about me. See me well.
That's right. Yeah. Don't worry about me. Wish me well. That's right.
Right? Because worrying about somebody and telling somebody that they're worried, it's like, let me screw you down a little further into that hole.
Well, I don't think that
Not,
that's,
not,
the intention at all.
it's
I
not the
think that
intention,
people
but I think
genuinely,
the energy.
we worry. Yeah, we worry about the people we love. I think that's just a natural reaction. I think it's a survival instinct.
Yeah.
Fear is a survival instinct that was granted to us to make us aware, like just, hey, pay attention. So, that, but where the mind takes that instinct is where it starts to loop. So it's afraid of this, and then all of a sudden the mind gives you 4 other things that you're afraid of instantly, and now you're cycling through this thing of fear. So it's that continuation of that vibration of that fear that really starts to become a problem for us. So, fear. I'm nervous. My child is out right now. She's young. I don't know. Hopefully, it's going to be okay. That's to alert me that there could be danger. So that is now I have that awareness. Excuse me. Now I have to come from that higher place with it. Come from the heart and just say, okay, blessings on her. See her protected. See her guarded. All the things I mentioned before. So you see that you fear alerts you, and then you apply the light.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's just having that awareness to do that. And I think so many of us are in the program and we're not aware that we're kind of, making the lower vibration expand by jumping in there with it, right? And worrying some more about it.
Yeah, well, it's, same as that, you're going for a job interview, for instance, right? And you're just like, oh, you're so concerned, right? It's like, oh, it's a big deal. What if I say the wrong thing? Or what if I don't say the right thing? Again, I'm putting that fear towards it. So the fear is, the worry, the concern is to make me pay attention. This is a big deal. This is about getting a job and being a provider and hopefully a better provider. This is an advancement for me. So that's to alert me. But then again, back to that, bring in the light. Imagine that the person you're going to sit with is going to, be lit up, and you're going to be lit up, and you're going to ask for a blessing on the whole interview and on the person that's interviewing you, and you kind of visualize the thing, it going well. And then again, now the fears alerted me, and we've applied a high vibration and visualizing the outcome that we want. That is going to guarantee us the best chance of success and take the anxiety out of it.
And it's pretty powerful, actually, isn't it? Like, it doesn't sound like it really do anything, but it really does.
Oh, absolutely. The energy we put out affects everything around us. So, and the energy that we move, we put out ahead of time is equally effective.
Yeah.
So, the mind is my creation tool. So, the idea is that the universe is a supply program. It's not judging me. It's not, saying you should or should not do. It's just reading what I'm thinking, what I'm saying, and it's watching my actions. So if I'm constantly focused on the worry, if I'm constantly focusing on negative results, potential of negative results, the universe is not going to judge me. It's just going to keep supplying me more of what I'm thinking and what I'm saying and what I'm doing. So whatever I'm focused on, I'm putting the call out for more of that. So if I want to have, let's say, many interviews and successful ones, and the right one's going to come my way, then I have to change my belief system. I have to change inside my mind how I process that. So yes, I'm nervous about the job interview. Thank you for making me be aware. And now I have to focus on, okay, every time that fear comes in, I'm going to say, no, this is going to go great. This guy's going to like me, or this lady's going to like me, and I'm going to like them. We're going to get along well. I'm going to be able to relate to them. And it'll be a great exchange, and it'll be a wonderful outcome. They're going to see me as an asset and want me in their company.
Yeah, it's powerful. It's powerful. I've set intentions. Well, we've done this together, and it's your day is a different day from when you don't. Like, everything in my day will go just smooth and happy and easy, and I don't know, just like it's a great day. And then the days that I forget to set that intention and kind of see what I'm doing for, just takes that minute, really, doesn't it? Kind of what your day is going to look like. And I just see myself, and then and then I always ask for a surprise. Surprise me with something good.
Oh, I like
so
that.
I know that that it's just for fun, right? And of course, I always get one when I ask, right? And it always kind of makes me giggle.
I really like that. I think I'm gonna have to adopt that one actually.
Ask
Because
me.
I do like surprises. I do like change. So that keeps life fresh for me. So I like it.
It's just super fun, I find.
Well, that, you know what, and you're setting, when you set your vibration to fun, to happiness, it is an absolute game changer because life, how much of life is spent doing things that you really aren't excited about.
Yeah.
That I look at and go, oh my God, that's like mundane, boring. There's so many other things I'd rather do and avoid this. So what I do is I trick myself. I go, oh my God, I love this. This is amazing. This is this is joyous joy. And so it is, of course it isn't, but my mind doesn't know that. My brain doesn't know that. So when I say words like, this is great, this is fantastic. Oh, I love this. This is amazing. The brain thinks, wow, he must be doing something pretty exciting out there. And it's going to release a little hit of dopamine into the brain. And the next thing you know, I'm going to actually feel better about what I'm doing. I'll feel a little bit lighter and a little bit less, cantankerous about it, where I'd be like, oh my God, I don't want to be like cleaning up dog food. This is terrible. I hate this. So instead of hating something, I try and love it all and just say, it's part of the experience. And I'm so grateful that I'm here and I get to experience this.
Yeah, I when I'm really stuck, I ask for show me a larger perspective of this, or show me how I could see this in a happier perspective, because this little perception I'm seeing right here doesn't look too good.
Send in an adjustment, please.
Please.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, and you make a great point, and asking, it's there's two ways that we can go about something. We can visualize ourselves and visualize that outcome and visualize what we want to see, and think, okay, I'm going to create this by changing my programming, my thoughts. I'm going to drive this bus. But there's sometimes when I'm just exhausted, and it's been a long day, or things have happened, and I'm just a little bit overwhelmed at the moment. So those are great times to ask, right? Ask the universe, ask your guides, ask your higher power theory, just to inject something into the moment that you need, that just give me some happiness here, give me a ray of golden light, or give me something that'll just shift my attitude, my perspective, or give me some shielding or some protection right now, because I'm feeling low. And that's repetition is the mother of skill. At first we think, oh, I don't know if that's going to work for me, or I've tried that hasn't worked. But if you keep doing it over and over and over again, then you will develop that mental muscle, that spiritual muscle, and then the results can be surprising.
They're always way better. And I was always told that you have to ask, that we're not able to receive from the spirit world, or our angels or spirit guides, or that higher power, unless we ask, because we have free will.
Oh, I agree. Yes, 100%. Guides, anything of higher vibration, respects the right of free will. It respects my right to choose whether I want to experience life with or without that influence being involved. So, I kind of envision it like I'm in a wrestling match, and, there's my spirit guides on the outside of the ring, and they're going, come on, just tag me, come on, bring me in. And it's whether or not I'm smart enough to realize I need some help in that moment, and reach over and tag them, bring them in, because they will not interfere on their own. And
the other thing that I learned that kind of ties in with this is, when I'm not hearing, is to ask them to speak a little louder. You can, and that has worked. Like I'm not getting it, I'm frustrated, I'm stuck or whatever. Can you speak louder? Show me in a louder, so I can, so it whacks me over the head. Which
I was just gonna say, can you hit me with a hammer, please? Yeah. Well, that there's a lot of that. A lot of times we have that intuition that says, hey, I don't know about this. And, we start to sell ourselves. Well, I don't know, though. I think that this is good and this could be good. And, your intuition's like going, no, don't think so. And you're like, oh, no, it's going to be all right. I'm pretty sure. Those are the moments where, just like hit me harder, like just give me the hammer to the head, please. Next time. Don't let me sell myself.
Mark, how would you share to somebody that they're hearing from their angels? Like, how will they know that that's confirmation? Because I know when I first sort of started, it was like my brain then's like, no, that's not it. Or, our brain kind of jumps in once we kind of get a hit of something, the song comes on and it's exactly what you're talking about. Or, so, you get some kind of information and it's like, is that, and it is, but we kind of then get in our head. How would you tell somebody or share with somebody how they will know that that's spirit speaking to them?
Well, that is a great question. And, in the beginning, I would wonder, is that me just wishful thinking? Probably, I'm probably wanting to hear that. So to me, my guidance doesn't come audible. I don't hear them speaking. What I do is if I ask a question, I just make my mind be still. And then the next thought that comes in is not mine. So it's basically comes in a form of thought to me. I think of nothing, and then a thought comes in. So then what you do is, in the beginning, you're gonna say, oh, that can't be right. That doesn't seem right. But write it down. Write down what that first thought is so you don't forget it. And then what you'll see is over time, that first thought a lot of times doesn't really, you'll start to recognize, or you can even ask for the ability to recognize which thoughts are, gifts that are information being given to me, and which ones are my own. Because in the beginning you might, like, ooh, you're like, your wishful thinking will fill in the blanks for you. But once you learn to be still and you just let the next thought come in, you'll start to realize, wow, that's not a word that I use. I would never use, or I'd never describe something that way. And you start to realize and recognize, okay, that's the form of guidance to me. That's those thoughts. And then, later on for me, visualizations came. So now a lot of times when I ask a question, if I'm working with a client, I get a visualization. So it's like a little movie that plays. It's made out of white light. And I see what it is that I need to see. And a lot of times that is tailored to me. So my guides are going to present something to me in a visual that will help me understand. And a lot of times it's metaphorical. So I was, for instance, many years ago, I was working on a woman, and she was in the States, and she had a terrible chest pain, and nobody could figure out what was wrong with her. It was really debilitating. And her mother found me online and contacted me and asked me if I could help. So I was working away, and I wasn't making any progress with it. And then this visualization came to me that she had this big metal pipe sticking out of her chest. So I just reached out in the visualization, grabbed it, pulled it out, and immediately I got a text from her saying, "What'd you do?" It's gone. So, in actual fact, she did not have a metal pipe sticking out of her chest, but it was showing to me that if you just do this is going to help. So, that visualization was a gift, and I knew it didn't come from me, because I was sitting with my mind completely still. So that, I hope that helps to give
awesome.
people an idea of how you can define what is coming from you and what is divinely guided.
Mm-hmm. I think that's key. What you're saying, though, is just to really just stop and listen, and then, but to quiet the thoughts, right? That's the tough part.
Take your mind out of the equation by thinking of nothing. And if you can say, I can't think of nothing, then think of one thing. So, you're quiet your mind, you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna think of, bananas. Just say the word banana. And you're focused on one thing. And then when something else comes out that's that's in that's not, related to that one thought, then you can look at that and say, okay, what's that? That I wasn't thinking of anything, and that came in. So you can examine that, and you will, with practice, and it's always about the practice. You'll start to gain the wisdom of what is coming from your wishful thinking and what is divinely guided.
With the practice. That's
all
the
about
key,
the practice.
right?
All about the practice.
Everyday practice. Just spending a little bit of time for ourselves. What a concept, eh?
Well, again, I'd have to say that, human beings are inherently lazy when it comes to working on ourselves. There's a few exceptional stars among us that are dedicated to, I'm going to work on me diligently every day. They're born with that. The rest of us are we're pretty fond of avoidance. We'll think of anything. It's just like, oh wow, I'd love to work on me, but I got to clean the kitchen, or I love to work on me, but I got to go mow the lawn right now. Or healing practitioners are famous for avoidance because I can't work on me because the world needs me. I've got to fix other people. I don't have time to fix me.
Well, we don't have anything to give, though, right?
Well, yeah, that's true. Absolutely. Yes. That's very key. I'm only able to help others as much as, I can help myself first. And it was really a long process for me. But, now I have the discipline that before I open up my channel to do any healing work, the first person I work on is me, always. So I'm always tuning myself up first, running energetic upgrades on myself, clearing myself, shielding myself. So I have some protocols that I run through, and I always do those first. That's mandatory now.
Yeah. Yeah. You've taught me that. Mandatory.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Well, it really, the greatest healing I can ever, give to the world is my own. I truly believe that, because, this world evolves one soul at a time. And if we're all, the Buddhists believe that, that it's accountability. I'm accountable for everything I think, say, and do. Then my spirit evolves. I evolve. And if humanity, if each and every one of us was accountable for what we're thinking and what we're saying and what we're doing, then we would evolve instantly as a species, as spiritually, mind, body, all of it. I don't know where we go from there, but it would seriously be a quick upgrade.
Yeah, because when we're not accountable, then we give our power away, and so then we're stuck in not moving forward, right?
If I'm not accountable for what I'm doing and what I'm saying and what I'm thinking, then nothing changes. Absolutely nothing. I'll just keep repeating the same patterns, and I'll get the same results that I'm frustrated with, that I'm not looking for, that don't raise my vibration. Easy for me to say. So I really have to be accountable for what I'm saying and doing and thinking. So those are game changers. And they believe that, not only will I not evolve in this lifetime, but in countless lifetimes until I become accountable. So I really do like that about the Buddhists. They are a religion of accountability. So they're not praying, for somebody to fix their stuff. They look and say, you are the stuff. You got to fix yourself. So
but we're a society of the opposite, right? Like, I believe that most of us are all doing that, and that's what we know. So that's a big pattern to grasp, I believe, right? To stand there going, okay, but that is happening to me, and not be total, like the victim, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Well, yes, I believe you're correct. And, I spent a good chunk of my life blaming all my problems on other people. Like, or random events. Oh, well, if this didn't happen, that wouldn't happen. I wouldn't be here right now. Anything but blaming myself, or anything, any avoidance strategy at all to avoid myself. I didn't like myself at all. It was anything I could do to avoid me. I did.
Mark, what do you think about that whole thing and blaming ourselves? So maybe that's why it's not changing, is because when we go to get accountable, we look at it as wrong, or we're shame ourselves, or to be at fault. It's like you're bad, not, no love, like it's just a negative. So that's probably why we keep pushing it off instead of stating like, okay, this is happening and this feels shitty, but there's like so much good that comes out of that type of situation, right? That's where the growth.
Well, I think that, again, great point. Most of what we approach, the things that need our best light, our best energy, again, we approach it from a low standpoint. So I start blaming myself. I start beating myself up. I should have, accomplished more in my lifetime than I have now. I thought it'd be further by now, or, I had something great and I lost it. So I'm coming from that little bit of self-pity there, self-loathing, and a complete lack of self-love. So when I do that, I'm not probably going to be very successful at fixing the problem, which is fixing my perceptions of me and my perceptions of the world. So again, I have to come from that higher place and let myself off the hook first of all and say it's very difficult to be a human being, especially in these times. And then I love myself. And at first it's very difficult. And it's interesting that we've been taught, a lot of us, that, if I say I love myself, that's ego. I'm being egotistical. And it's the exact opposite. Is very high vibrational, because if I can't love myself, then I can't love anybody else, because it has to start with me. It really has to start with me respecting myself, loving myself, letting myself off the hook, knowing that there's going to be many mistakes made in this lifetime, and that the idea is to get up every time, dust yourself off. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. Let it out, get it out. You go outside, yell at the top of your lungs, whatever it is you have to do to get it out. And then the only thing is, it's okay to feel that way. It's just not okay to stay that way.
Right.
So then we have to, take the steps and learn the tools, and then apply the tools. So I always say that to fix a problem in my life, first of all, I need awareness. So I have to be aware that there is a problem, because I cannot fix something that I don't even know that exists in the first place. So, and if you don't understand, if you don't know what your problem is or why things are happening to you, go to the people who you trust, go to the people that you respect, and ask them. Because if they respect you, if they love you, they're not going to tear you down. They're going to tell you something because they want you to be better. So those are the people we want to listen to. Yeah. And just say, you know what? I don't know why this keeps happening to me. What do you see a problem here? And listen to them, because I have this dialogue that I tell myself that, this is what I'm putting out to the world. And then there's the real me that I'm putting out to the world and that other people see. And oftentimes it's a little bit skewed. So, ask the people that you love and care about to give you an honest assessment. Then they might be able to identify something that you didn't see. So now I have awareness. I have awareness that I have a problem. Next thing I need is understanding. I need to know the mechanics of that. Like, how does that work? Where does it come from? How does it affect me? When does it come? When does it go? So if I can understand the mechanics of that, how that works, then I have a really good chance of countering it. So I'm aware of a problem. Now I understand how it works and how it affects me. And the next thing I know that I need is compassion. I need to love myself enough and love the people that I interact with on a regular basis, friends and family. I need to care about me, care about them enough to make the change, to do the work. Because if I just say, oh, screw it, it's not worth it, then nothing changes. I have to say, you know what? No, I love myself. I deserve better. I'm going to be better. And my friends and my family deserve a better version of me. This is so worth it. I am so excited to do this work. I love it. I know it's not going to be easy, but I'm going to love it. And I'm going to pour my heart into it. I'm going to come at it from my heart. I'm going to love it. So if you have that, now you've got some great, you're off and running. And the next thing you need is some action. So we need a plan. What are we going to do every hour of the day to counter that programming? If it comes up once an hour, that old programming comes up, it says, you're, oh, I'll never be this, or I'll never be that. We have to be, now we are aware of it. We know how it works. Now we need an action plan. So I'm going to counter that with a tool, a mind tool. And then I'm going to use that tool every time that comes up. And that's going to be my plan of action for the day. And so if I'm planning that action every day that comes up, that bad programming, or replace it with a good programming, then, it adds up to, hey, I had a good hour. And that hour adds up to, hey, I had a good morning. And then that morning, rolls into, hey, I had a good afternoon. And then if I keep it up by bedtime, I've had a good day. And if I just do that every day, every single day, then days add up to weeks, and weeks add up to months, and months add up to years, and years add up to a good life, a happy life,
Yeah.
a satisfying life.
Yeah, get the snowball rolling in the direction you want it to go, right? Because you're getting more of where you're at, or what we think about just keeps expanding and growing. So if we're not feeling good, then we need to look for the opposite of how we're feeling, probably, and then just know that we have to figure out what a picture looks like for us in that feeling, because we're really kind of creating our future ourselves by our thoughts, right?
Well, I love the shamanic perspective, that the past and the present and the future are like three highways, and they run simultaneously. So anything that I've created in the past still exists energetically. Yeah. So if I was angry, if I, said, swore at the top of my lungs, rah, I release that energy out into the universe. So it doesn't change. It's still out there. So the past is that anger that I let go still exists. So the past is still with me. It's still present, still out there, the energy I created. And then the future is based on what I'm thinking and saying and doing now. The universe takes those seeds, I call them my seeds, and blows them on up ahead of me and grows it into the reality of which I walk into. So the future is happening now.
I just got a visual of the dandelion, when you said that.
Yeah, well, that's great. That is what it's like to me. It's just like, yeah, whatever I'm thinking and saying, those are those dandelions, those seeds just blew off the head, and they're on their way.
Yeah.
So, you're constantly in the presence of the past and the future energetically. Mm-hmm. So, my spirit work is based in shamanic practice. So the idea is that the concept is age old. It's the oldest belief system, spiritual belief system on earth. And that's the belief that everything has a soul. You, me, the cat, the dog, the rocks, the trees, the insects, the sky. Everything has a soul at the core of it, having a physical experience. So at the core of this body, which is waving around right now and speaking, is my soul. And this is just my avatar. My body is my avatar. It comes with a best before date and an expiry date. And if it didn't, it would become a prison for my spirit. So it's meant to fall away. I'm supposed to have physical experience, get some experiential knowledge. Then this body falls away, the avatar dies, and then my spirit goes back to the spirit world. What we do there all day, every day, I'm not quite sure. Do we tell the same jokes for 1,000 years? I am not quite sure.
There's a lot of people, Mark, that have a hard time. Like, I have a lot of friends that have a hard time to believe, and my dad was the same, that actually is a thing. So is there a way for you to explain that a little, or put a little more explanation on that consciousness of our soul and how that it is it's eternal? That's because it's energy. Is that
well, I believe that the evolution of my soul is my true lifetime, and this version of me that's speaking right now is one chapter in that. So I keep repeating the physical experience program over and over and over again, gaining experiential knowledge, and hopefully getting a little bit smarter each time. Perhaps not necessarily so, but with each experience, my soul gains wisdom, hopefully, and then it evolves to the point where jealousy, hatred, greed, sadness, all of those things are just, you're beyond them now. You're evolved to this place where you're in higher vibration constantly. And so, but to achieve that evolution takes experience. So to verify the soul, I have this book that's a collection of all of the sacred writings. And it's sort of like this Reader's Digest version of all the belief systems that they've been able to record.
What's that called, Mark?
Oh boy, I'm choking on the name of it right now, but I will get it for you.
Okay, good.
And it's really a dry read. I can't recommend it for being anything exciting.
Don't put it on my reading list.
No, it's not
Okay,
like,
share the
it's not
wisdom
a
then.
real page turner. But it's pretty interesting from this, if you're curious about, learning a little bit about all these different beliefs. And what I found fascinating about it is that they all have different beginning of days story, end of days stories. They have different concept of worship, concept of what heaven and hell is. But they have one thing that's common that runs through all of them, is they have the belief that we are spirits here to have a physical experience. So some believe it's one shot, that's all you get. Others are, the Buddhists believe it's endless until you become accountable. So, I really just grab that and just say, okay, well, if they can all agree on one thing, then that works for me.
Yeah.
And then from the shamanic standpoint, when I do spirit work, I think it has the most profound effect of any of the practices that I use, is soul peace retrieval, which you've experienced with me.
Pretty powerful. Yeah, very powerful, very healing.
So the concept is that a traumatic experience in life, a piece of my soul breaks away from me, a fragment of me breaks away, and it relives that trauma over and over and over again in a timeless, endless loop. So, for instance, I was in a car crash in my early 20s. Having trouble speaking here. And so the idea would be that a piece of my soul in that moment broke away from me and would remain at that scene, reliving that event over and over and over again. So in shamanic practice, the idea is that the shaman is guided into the darkness to find that fragment, find that soul piece, and bring it awareness, let it know what it's doing, because it has no clue, absolutely no clue as to what it's doing or why it's there. So you bring it awareness, then you bring it understanding, and then you bring it compassion. You bring it a healing, you bring in the light, you bring in the love, and they respond to it almost instantaneously. And then what you do is you inform that soul piece that that I exist in the future, and that I need this piece to come forward in time and to be here with me, so that I can have that piece back and I can rebuild myself and I can start to be whole again in the moment. So the idea is we pick up the pieces from our past and we bring them forward and heal them, so we can be whole in the moment and whole moving forwards. And that is the oldest form of mental health therapy known on earth. And it's practiced by many different indigenous cultures around the world, and they did not have knowledge of the other's existence. Wow. So as a wise woman told me, a truth is a truth is a truth. It doesn't need to be printed on a screen or on a billboard. It's just we know it to be so.
Yeah. Truth. You know it energetically in your body when you speak truth. Absolutely, right? You can you get to to realize that that feels how it feels. Yeah, feels real to me. You feel heavy when somebody's even speaking an untruth to you. You can feel it doesn't land properly in your body. Like you kind of feel, it's a whole different energy to have yourself do it and someone else, right? Absolutely. We all have intuition. We get away from it, and oftentimes we try and disregard it. But my belief is that my intuition is that collective wisdom that I've gained over many lifetimes. That's my higher self. That's speaking and going, oh, you know what?
you don't really want to believe that, or that's not true. We disregard that. And I mean, some of us have overwhelming intuition, and it's sometimes very difficult to deal with, as you know.
Yeah.
So, we can have that empathic ability where, I walked into a room when I was younger and as a boy, and I felt everybody in that room. I felt everything that they were thinking. I felt their joy. I felt their pain. I felt their suffering. I felt their fears. I felt everything. I couldn't really read their thoughts, so to speak, like I didn't hear what they were thinking. I just felt it. So that made it very difficult for me to function in a group setting.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of discipline and practice to counter that. And now, of course, it's the complete opposite for me. So I'm happy to say.
It's the complete opposite. Now you're not affected by
No.
other people's energies.
No, not at all.
Is that because
Not at all.
you kind of protect yourself before? Is that because you're doing a protection, like creating your vessel daily, that energy doesn't affect you, or how is that?
Well,
or you've just your
yes.
energies are higher?
Yeah, actually, all of the above. There's various techniques of shielding oneself, I always highly recommend, especially for the empathic types out there, that you learn a shielding exercise that makes sense to you. So the idea is that I set the space around me with the energy that I want to walk with, and I do that consistently. So now, instead of all the energies coming in and bouncing off of me, and that me feeling them and trying to separate what's mine and what's not mine and all of that business, now I'm set with the energy that I want to walk with. And then so that anything that comes into my field now is affected by me and not the opposite. So it's more apt to be, if something is erratic, it's more apt to become calm in my presence because of the energy, the divine energy that I walk with and move with. And that's deliberately set every day.
And so you shared this with me, and it's been definitely a game changer in my life. So thank you for that knowledge and wisdom and experiential knowledge as well. So yeah.
You're good for you for practicing, because it's one thing to know it doesn't happen unless you practice it. So good for you.
Well, you can live like that, or you can live the other way. So I can't live in that, just the bombardment of feeling everything, right? It's just, I don't know what to do with all that energy, but even having the awareness that actually was what was happening is a whole other thing. Because I think a lot of times we take it on that it is all ours, right? But a lot of times it isn't. We're picking up from even the guy in the car next to us. So you feel good,
absolutely.
and then all of a sudden also you feel irritated. You think it's yours, but it's not. It's a buddy who just pulled up and he's all angry about something, right?
And we've all experienced it, you can really quantify that by just being in the presence of somebody who's upset, you can come away feeling like, oh, wow, I was just with Bob and he was super angry, or I was with Kathy and she was super depressed. A lot of us can come away from that and go, wow, I'm kind of feeling a little bit, wait a minute, I gotta shake that off. Yeah. So, we're constantly exchanging energy with everybody and everything we encounter. Now, some of us are just more bigger receivers to that than others. So we just have to take a little bit extra precaution and do a little bit of due diligence to bring that in under control. Because as the old saying goes, you either control your gifts or your gifts will control you. So it's, back in the day, those of us who are empathic more than the average, we lived in a village setting. So the village shaman, medicine man, medicine woman would pick up on that. And, they would tell you, you come over here, and they send the other kids off to play. And they teach us a couple of things that a couple of tools that we can use to harness our gifts a little better and to keep our sanity. So we lost that. A lot of our wise women and men were burned at the stake, sadly, and the cultures were destroyed. And then we were put into, cities grew, and there's a large disconnect now from those wise spiritual leaders that we had when we were in the village setting. So a lot of us are left with our gifts without guidance, without teachers, and they can kind of go sideways on us without that that experience, that wisdom,
without the wisdom
to lead us,
and the knowledge
yes,
about how to integrate it into living, right? Like sometimes just the
absolutely.
knowledge, like I had a lot of understanding and knowledge, but I wasn't able to use it all. Like learning
Well,
how to integrate it into
yeah,
living is everything.
yeah, I agree 100%. To learn something is key. To become awareness is key, but understanding how you can counter it, or how you can work with it, and is, if I just give you a bunch of information, it may help you become aware, but it's not really going to help you fix the problem. We need that. We need those tools. And then again, back to the compassion, you got to care. You have to say, you know what, I can't do this anymore, and I'm going to change it. I'm going to do the work. It's all about the work. It's all about the practice.
But it's actually, when we say work, it is a little bit daunting at first, right? But once you get that taste of that sense of peace, even if you get it for a moment or a minute, it's the best drug you'll ever do. And you can not want to find that again, because once you know or have that experience, then you want to expand that, right? Like it's, I don't know, just for my experience, dropping in and having that.
I would say that if you're going to start doing the work and you're going to walk the path, the universe is going to get in there with you, and they're going to throw you a bone. You're going to have that aha moment. You're going to have that light bulb's going to go on, and you're going to have some clarity, or you're going to be given a vision, or you're going to be able to, block everything out that was just coming in and invading you. If you're practicing a shielding exercise, for instance, if you're an empath, it's just going to click for you. I always tell people, when you're using a tool in spirituality, a lot of times it's like going to the gym. At first it's clunky, it's awkward, like, I don't know, this seems like a lot of work. I don't think it's going to benefit me. I don't think I lost any weight, or if you're trying to build muscle, I don't look any bigger than I was before. So it's repetition. And then that muscle builds. So, that spiritual muscle gets stronger the more you practice it. And then, at first the results, you're like, oh, I'm not sure that's a result. I think I'm just imagining that. Again, with repetition, you're going to succeed more and more and more, and that doubt is going to fall away, and be, you're going to replace it with confirmation. You're going to understand that, no, this is progress. This works for me, and this is a great tool. And I need to apply it every day. And if I do that, then wow, life's going to be so much better.
Yeah. And I think that, just for myself, that people who are feeling like they're struggling, that you are like having a coach or having a mentor or somebody who is able to help you and guide you is everything, because we don't see ourselves, right? Like you were talking about earlier, it's very hard to see ourselves. Other people can see everything that we're doing, but we can't see it. We can see what they're doing, but we can't see what we're doing. And so having a coach or somebody like yourself, teaching and someone to drop back in with these tools and say, okay, I'm doing this, and I'm not, it's everything, I believe.
Well, in my experience, somebody who is, more experienced, and who is a proper teacher. A teacher comes from the heart. Teacher. There's other ones who call themselves a teacher, and they come from the head. They're a little bit driven by ego, and you can tell the difference. Somebody that's coming from the heart, they'll oftentimes share their experience. Like, I've been you. I was there. This is, they'll say, this is a problem for me, and this is how I handle it. So they're sharing themselves as being human as well. not somebody that's, I'm all enlightened and this is what you got to do to be, look for that ego side, right? But if you find that right teacher that comes from the heart, teaches from the heart and not from the head,
Yeah.
you've really struck gold, because they've gone through the growth stage themselves, and they've analyzed it, and they've learned from their mistakes, and now they want to share it with you, because there's an old saying that once you reach enlightenment, you're supposed to turn around and jump back in the ocean and go back for everybody else. So those people who come from the higher vibration and come from the heart, they're driven to help others get to where they get through things that they've been through. So that coach, that teacher is invaluable, because you're going to have struggles, you're going to have difficulties, you're going to find those moments where you think this is all BS, it's not going to work for me, or I've put in the work and I can't do anymore. That coach is going to be able to bump you along a little bit, say, hey, no, I've been there, this is what you want to do, and just adjust this, or you're going to open the wrong door and someone's going to hit you hard, and your teacher's there to back you up, to hit the reset button and clear the things and say, hey, don't, next time use your head. Don't do that. That was not wise. So that's where a guide is, a teacher is invaluable, I find.
Yeah, somebody who has your back, right? Even
Yes.
though you crashed and fell down, they're not judging you. They're there to say, oh, yeah.
Well, they may have some harsh words still, they might go, what you think you're doing, but they're still going to care.
To help pull you up out of something.
Yeah, they're going to, they'll be upset, but they're still going to be there for you and they'll back you up and put you back on your feet so you can get back in the ring.
Yeah, and I think that's a rarity these days. There seems like, well, I think we're switching that platform, but like this kind of work, it seems that everybody helps to lift the other. It's not let me step on top of you so I can get up, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, anybody that behaves that way I call them spiritually immature. They may know some stuff, they may have some experience, but they're trying to be holier than thou. They think that they're here and you're here, right? So you'll feel that, if they're talking down to you, and that's ego. What you want is that teacher that says, hey, we're all in this together. I'm not perfect. I got my flaws just like everybody else, but this is some stuff I figured out, and maybe it's going to be helpful for you. And so I find that when you have a teacher like that, then you can, you found somebody that's real. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I've had a few that have been amazing, and I've had a few that have just not been in my fit, that I've needed to, leave and stuff. And that's always an uncomfortable situation, but it's always a learning and growing situation as well, right?
I agree. And I think that, you can always learn something regardless. You can learn, how to behave and how not to behave from somebody, from an experience with somebody. And you can always, the old saying, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Was there something good? Did they teach you something that was useful? If so, keep it, use that as put it in your medicine bag, use it.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Okay. So we've done mind. What have we've talked about the mind?
We've done spirit. My body work. My body work is probably best defined. I call it energy healing, but it's probably maybe defined better as quantum mechanics. So the idea is that the mind is able to interact with matter. And, if you want some proof of that, just move your body in any deliberate action, and you are proving that mind is controlling matter constantly within your own body. So if I can move these cells in my hand and wiggle my fingers around, what about the cells, let's say, in my immune system? Are they made of something different, or are those cells listening just like these ones are? So the belief is that we came with the ability to repair ourselves through visualization, through the mind, through communication with the cells. And we're just not taught that that's possible because they can't put it in a bottle and put it on a shelf and sell to us at a pharmacy. So they can't have us running around communicating with ourselves and repairing our bodies. It's just bad for business.
It is. There's no money in that.
Not for them, no. There
Not
is
for
for
them.
us.
There is for
So,
us, yeah.
yes, we're going to save on some pharmaceuticals.
Right.
So if I'm able to command the cells in my hands, my fingers, if I sustain a blow, perhaps, for instance, say my forearm here gets a blow, what's happened is my cells now are kind of discombobulated. They don't know what's going on. They've taken a hit. So with practice, you can communicate with those cells and just tell them that it's okay. You're going to be all right. You can just return to your normal harmonious flow, and they will listen and they will respond to that information from the brain, just like these ones will. So visualization works on the concept of that energy follows thought. So what you're thinking on, what you're focused on, the energy is going to come in and follow that. And that energy that's coming in is the energy that surrounds us 24/7. It makes the dogs walk and the bees fly, the birds fly, and makes the sun move. That energy, that's the divine energy of life. That's the source of life, and it is around us constantly. And again, we were born with the capability to interact with that energy. It is us and we are it. So when we take away that separation and we take away that doubt through practice and repetition, we can bring that energy in. So we have the ability to bring that energy into the body, channel it into the body, and put it into the cells to repair the cells. So if you've got cells that are degenerating, you can visualize that energy coming into your body, going directly into those cells, and you see those cells now regenerating and rejuvenating in that light and that energy. So that's basically what I do from the body standpoint, is visualize where an injury is or where an illness is, and then bring in that source energy to either heal the wounded cells, or you can also bring in the light to eradicate trespassers in the body. So an overabundance of bacteria or viral infection, bacterial infection, you can bring in the light, and you can use that light to clear that unwanted energy out of the body. So it's sort of, I'm giving you a little bit of a nutshell. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but those are the basic concepts. As you visualize that healing, and then that source energy, that divine energy, will follow your thought right to the cellular level, and we communicate with the cells. We bring in that energy and we heal and repair ourselves.
Yep, I have come and asked you for some healings for some different ailments I've had in my body, and it's incredible how powerful this really is. And I believe you're going to give us a little taste of that experience through meditation, just as we're ending the show.
I would love to do that.
Yeah. I first of all want to just, you are also a best-selling author. Do you want to just give us a list? I know you've written a few books. I was reading through the different ones, but just so people,
well,
you've got the Shamanic Chronicles.
I can't say best-selling just yet. No.
Well, come on.
But I'm working on it. Well, I used to, tell people about my beliefs, and they would say, when's the book coming out? So I tried to, write a self-help book based on my beliefs and practices, and it just didn't click with me. So I've always liked to tell stories. Ever since I was a kid, creative writing was my favorite in school. So what I did was just to start writing stories and creating characters, and having those characters live out my beliefs and my perspectives. I found that more interesting. So
yeah, it's way better because people can then put themselves in that situation of that person, for sure. That's powerful.
Well, it's an ancient technique through shamanic practice, and the concept is that the medicine is put into a story. So rather than the shamans gather everybody from the village around the fire and tell them what they should and should not do, people would get bored with that. They would disregard the information. So the shaman becomes this storyteller and takes this wisdom that they want to share, that they've gained, and they create characters and they create exciting stories, and they're full of drama, and they share their experience of dealing with these entities or healing the sick, and they try and make it exciting. So that way that
I love that.
way
That's awesome.
the hope is that you create an interesting enough story that the medicine is retained.
Yeah.
So that people can go, oh, what did the shaman tell me? Oh, yeah, I remember that character did this when he was confronted with that. I remember that. So then hopefully you'll remember the lesson and you can apply it. They also did it for passing on the wisdom to the next generation. So those stories kept that transfer of experience and that medicine and that wisdom going from generation to generation. So it's a very, very ancient technique. And my goal is to take this ancient form of storytelling and bring it into the modern era. So I'm currently looking for a publishing agent. And so that's my ongoing process with the idea of publishing an entire series. Awesome. The Shaman Chronicles are coming.
Shaman Chronicles, Mark Lemohr. We're going to put your information with the podcast. So we'll make sure that all of your, your information is all there so that they can look and find you. And you do coaching and distant healing and all kinds of amazing things. Do you still do like a online group night that you do?
Yeah, every now and again we put together for online healing sessions. We would call them Tune-Up Tuesdays. Every Tuesday we'd put a group together on Zoom and do a group energy healing session, and it's fabulous because we have people on there from around the globe, and it's wonderful to watch them all receive the energy of the divine and have similar experiences with it, even though they're in different time zones and geographically, tens of thousands of miles apart sometimes. Which just shows
I was able to be on a few of those calls, and it was really a great experience. I really enjoyed that. So
they're a lot of fun. I enjoy doing them, and we'll do more of them in the future, for sure.
Awesome.
So I'd like to do a little guided meditation here for your podcast audience.
Yay!
All right,
you guys are in for a treat. This is a great, powerful, positive, amazing experience. So I'm in.
Okay, here we go. This is super simple. We're going to let the universe do all the heavy lifting. And all I need you to do, and you out there in podcast land to do, is to close your eyes and visualize that you have white roots growing out the bottom of your feet. And there's no right way to do this. There's no wrong way to do it. Just try your best. And if you lose track of it, do not worry. Just come back to it as best you can. This is a stress-free exercise. So those roots are going to come out the bottom of your feet. And they're going to go down through the floorboards, down through the ground, down through the rocks, down through the dirt, down through the crust, and into the molten center of Mother Earth. And Mother Earth gave us these bodies. She is a wonderful, incredible entity. She is an amazing energetic structure, and we can exchange with her energetically at any given time. She's always there for us. There's nothing she hasn't seen before. She is all knowing. She is all wise. She is all loving. So we're going to draw that energy up through our roots, up through the bottom of our feet, up through our legs, up through our torso, up into the chest, down the arms, out to the fingertips, up through the neck, up through the face, right up to the top of our head. And now we're full of the energy of Mother Earth. Now we are like the little tree. We're rooted into the ground. What does a tree do once it's rooted? It looks for the light. So it heads for the light. So our trunk goes up, our tree grows up, we open up our branches, we open up our leaves into the light of the divine. And now we are the energetic tree, rooted in Mother Earth and open to Father Sky. And this is a very, very ancient practice that is known through many different cultures who are completely unaware of the other's existence, but yet they still came to the same idea, the same concept. A truth is a truth is a truth. So now we are the tree. What does the tree do? It brings down the energy. So we're going to bring down some light. So imagine that light comes down through the leaves, down through the branches, down through the trunk of the tree. And now the white light illuminates the third eye. Next, the white light floods the brain. Illuminating the brain, illuminating the cells, rejuvenating the brain. Next, we're going to move it through the mind, through that collection of thoughts and perceptions and interpretations. We're going to illuminate those thoughts, bringing in the white light, raising the vibration of our thoughts. And as it does that, we're going to let go of some old programming, some old thoughts, the ones that no longer serve us anymore. We're going to illuminate those, and we're going to imagine them going back up the tree, back into the light, back to creation, back to becoming something useful, productive, and healing once again. So I like to see thousands of little white butterflies flying up from my mind as all those old programming, all those old thoughts that no longer serve me, go back to creation. And then the mind starts to clear. Next, we're going to move that light down through the face and down into the throat. And here I like to see that this is where we carry all of the things that we wish we had said, or think we should have said, and we haven't said yet. And we just carry those around with us. So when we let them go, we're not letting anybody off the hook. We're letting ourselves off the hook. So I like to visualize the white light coming in and lighting up the throat, lighting up all those things I never said that I thought I should have. And again, I see thousands of white butterflies flying up from my throat, up through the tube, up through the tree, up through the channel, back to light, back to creation, back to becoming something useful, productive, and healthy once again. We thank them for their lessons and we let them go. Next, we're going to move that light down into the chest, down the heart, down where we keep all those emotions stored, all those emotional responses to our life experiences. So again, we're only built to carry so much of that emotional energy, and then we start to overload and we can start to break down. So I want you to just say that you're ready to release some of that old emotional energy, that emotional baggage, and send it back into the light. Send it back to creation, because creation is ready to take it back anytime. So we're going to imagine the light goes into that pool of emotions and illuminates them. Again, I like to see thousands of white butterflies, but you can visualize anything you want. You could see unicorns, or ice cream cones, or puppies, whatever makes you feel good. And just see them leaving, just converting those old emotions, transforming them, and see them fly back up the channel, back up the tree, back into creation, back to the light, to become something useful, productive, and healing once again. We thank them for their lessons and we let them go. Next, we're going to see the heart fill up with that light, and the heart's going to move that light through the body, through the blood systems, and into all of our major organs. See the stomach illuminating, see the liver white with light, see the pancreas illuminated, the kidneys. Now we're going to move it into the muscles, illuminating the muscles. Now the muscles are white with white light, bright, shiny. Then we're going to move it into the bone. And we see our entire skeleton illuminated with the white light. And now from head to toe, every single cell in the body is illuminated with the white light of the divine. And this little exercise is one that you can do each and every day for yourselves. Fill your cells up with the light of the divine. And I promise you, at first it may seem clunky or awkward, but if you practice it over and over again, you will constantly and consistently raise your vibration, and it will change your day. So we give thanks to the universe, thanks to our guides for this guidance and for this energy. Thank the universe. Thank your higher power theory as you see it. And there you go. There's a little basic light healing exercise that I hope you can use and find benefit from.
Thank you. That was awesome. I love that so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Well, it was really, really great to have you. And I just want to thank you again for sharing your wisdom and wealth of knowledge. And we'll catch up probably soon because I know you have a lot more to share. So,
well, thank you very much for having me on. And I'd love to come back.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome, Jackie. Mwah. All the best.
You too.
Take care.
Bye.